analysis. This pretty much is going to be making our bowl predictions.
Let me just acknowledge for the fact, I have watched many of these teams. I have not seen many of the bowl games until Juju reads these to me.
Can you guess the first bowl game I will read to you, Kyle?
Is it involving your New Mexico State Aggies?
No, it's going to be the first one on the schedule. We have the Bahamas Bowl, which will be Miami of Ohio versus UAB in the Bahamas. So if you're Miami of Ohio, you got to love this game because get out of the cold for a little bit, enjoy some tropical weather. In fact, I think they're going to be flying high. I think I'm going to go with the Miami, Ohio. What are they, the Red Hawks?
Yeah, Red Hawks. I'm going to take them because I just heard the other day UAB hired Trent Dilfer as their coach, which means they just fired their coach, which means they're probably not doing great now.
Hold up here. UAB, they're the ones with the dragon as a logo, right?
Yes.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I go back to playing NCAA football, and I was oddly drawn to UAB. You know what? I revised my pick. I am going with UAB. Give me the Dragons. Okay. Trent Dilfer.
All right. What's next on the list?
We have the Cure Bowl. Number 24 Troy versus number 25 UTSA. Okay, you got a couple ranked teams going at it in Orlando. Troy versus UTSA. You know what? This is going to be a proximity pick. I'm based out of Austin, Texas. I'm going to go with the team based out of San Antonio. The next best thing to the actual University of Texas, San Antonio. I'm
going to go with you. Meet, baby, all the way. The Roadrunners are going to have consecutive 12-win seasons with this victory, which is really, really hard to do in college football. I'm amazed that coach hasn't left for a better job yet.
All righty. We are moving on to Saturday, December 17th. We have the Fenway Bowl. We have a football game in Fenway, which is the latest in the year that any team is playing in Fenway because the Red Sox were done in, I believe, August. Anyway, Cincinnati will be going against Louisville. Cincinnati obviously lost their head coach. Louisville, they have a fun storyline. Kyle, you want to indulge on some of the chaos there?
Yeah. So Louisville hired this guy named Scott Satterfield from App State to be their coach. This previous offseason, Louisville wanted to fire him, and Scott Satterfield wanted to leave. They were just both very unhappy, but stayed together for the children because Scott Satterfield had a top 10 recruiting class coming in somehow. And they started the season 2-4. And then they just won 5 of their last 6 games, keeping Scott Satterfield employed, even though he wanted to get fired and Louisville wanted to fire him. And they just won too many games accidentally. And then Scott Satterfield just left Louisville for Cincinnati. He just left Louisville to go coach Cincinnati. And they're now playing each other in a bowl game of which I'm being informed because of the layout of Fenway Park. Both teams' benches are on the same sideline. Oh. So that's going to be incredibly funny to watch happen, as Scott Satterfield will probably not coach that game. Maybe he will, maybe he won't. I don't know. But Scott Satterfield of now Cincinnati going against the team that Scott Satterfield just abandoned, which is just excellent.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Cincinnati. I was drawn to the Bearcats storylines last year as they made their way to this college football playoff.
This bowl game got canceled its first year in 2020. It got canceled last year in 2021. I'm going to bet that the game gets canceled again. We're going to play the odds and say this game will somehow get canceled.
If not canceled, I will still go with Cincinnati. Let's go to the Celebration Bowl. Jackson State, no longer with Coach Deion Sanders, will be going against NC Central. This game is going to take place in the Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta. So got a big stage for these two. Let's see. Do I have a betting line? I do not. Obviously, Jackson State, without your head coach, that's kind of like a big kick in the dick. Though they will have the talent advantage. I guess I'll go with Jackson State. Obviously, they've been a good story this year. Keep up their undefeated season. Why not? Big stage, big bowl game. Gonna be on TV.
Go NC Central, the Eagles out of the MIAC. I'll take them. Just cuz. I'm okay with some just cuz picks here. Let's talk the Las Vegas Bowl. The number 14 Oregon State Beavers versus Florida. Now, Florida, they just lost Anthony Richardson to the draft. This is actually a pretty good game in Las Vegas. Playing in the Raiders Stadium. I kind of like it. Fun fact about Oregon State, they were like a top 10 team against the spread this year.
I think I like Oregon State a little bit more. And I think Florida was trending in the wrong direction anyway. I'm going to go with Oregon State.
Yeah, I'm going to take the team that didn't lose to Vanderbilt this year, and that's Oregon State. That's spicy though. Oregon State and Florida. I bet you they've never played before. I bet you this is the first time they've ever played each other in program
it is
history.
a 10-point line, I should add. I do have some betting lines for this one. 10-point line in favor of Oregon State.
Yeah, I'll take Oregon State. Can't believe they're ranked 14. Good on Oregon State, man. Good for you.
And you were just shitting on that game for USC. No one saw it, only beat them by 3. Oregon State. Yeah. Don't mess with the Beavs, man.
Yeah. Oregon State should have been in the playoff over USC.
Yeah, guess we determined it. Put the Beavs in. Number 4, it's not too late. Do what's right, College Football Playoff Committee. Let's go to the LA Bowl. SoFi, Washington State, the Cougs versus Fresno State. Ooh, this is actually kind of a fun one. You know what? I'm going to go with kind of like that Mountain West loyalties here. I think I'm going to go with Fresno State.
Fresno State is better than 8 Pac-12 teams this year. I will list them off real quick. They're better than Colorado. They're better than Arizona. They're better than Arizona State. They're better than Wazoo. They are better than, who's the other team there? Oh, they're better than Cal. They're better than Stanford. And they're better than UCLA because Fresno State went into UCLA and beat UCLA last season. So Fresno State better than at least 7 Pac-12 teams.
I misspoke.
Mountain West supremacy.
It's the Jimmy Kimmel LA Bowl presented by Stifel? Whatever.
Huh. Yeah, Jimmy Kimmel got that last year. I think Oregon State was in that game last. This game is what the Vegas Bowl used to be, which is the best Mountain West team gets to play like the 5th Pac-12 team. So congratulations to Fresno for winning the Mountain West. You get to play the shitty Pac-12 team you're better than.
All right, let's talk about the Lending Tree Bowl. Rice versus Southern Mississippi. Again, I think I'm just going to go with Texas loyalties here. Give me Rice, the team out of Houston, to go against Southern Miss, Brett Favre's alma mater. I heard they have a really nice volleyball court these days.
Yeah, I'm gonna take Rice for non-scamming insurance or scamming welfare fraud out of the state of Mississippi reasons. I'll take Rice.
The New Mexico Bowl. SMU, Southern Methodist versus BYU, the Flying Mormons. I actually don't think that's their mascot. The University Stadium in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Yeah, they're the Cougars, right? Which is appropriate given Zach Wilson's offseason storylines. But this season's BYU team, I think I'm going to go with SMU. Southern Methodist. I remember I really liked, their 30 for 30 back in the day. Call it a comeback, Southern Methodist come back with that high flying offense. Why not?
Their coach last year was Sonny Dykes. They
are a 1-point favorite in this game.
The Book of Mormon would be way more interesting if we just had flying Mormons all of a sudden playing football. That would make the Book of Mormon way more interesting.
It would make it very convenient as you go door to door to just be able to fly door to door.
So,
kind of like rapid travel.
I'm going to take BYU for selfish reasons. Malik Moore is a corner for them. He went to my high school, so I'm going to take BYU for selfish reasons.
Okay. So we're going to the Frisco Bowl. We got Boise State versus North Texas, the Mean Green, Toyota Stadium in Frisco, Texas. I will go with Boise State. I still love this team. They still are a good callback team for me, and they've been a very good program. North Texas, I'm still bitter about last year, them ruining UTSA's perfect season. How dare they?
North Texas also fired their coach on Sunday, so not a great situation there. I'm going to take Boise State for more selfish reasons. My middle school friend JL Skinner, he's a safety for Boise State. He's going to get drafted this year. He went down with an injury in the Mountain West Championship game, so shout out JL. I'm going to take Boise State because JL's a star safety. All Mountain West team, baby. He's getting drafted this year, so I'm going to take Boise.
It's going to be a party on Monday, December 19th, as the Myrtle Beach Bowl welcomes in Marshall versus UConn. Marshall is currently a 10-point favorite. Now, Marshall does have the best win of the season out of these two teams, beating Notre Dame very early in Notre Dame season. Obviously, Marcus Freeman still getting his feet wet over there. UConn, they are a good story this year in college football. They hadn't been bowl eligible for a long time. And they have Jim Mora Jr. down there as their head coach.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, UConn, they weren't just bad, man. They were worse than most FCS teams for the past few seasons. UConn is you talk about baseball hell being in Anaheim. UConn is football hell, man. Like UConn is bad. And the fact they're 6-6 is quite remarkable. But Blake Jude all the way, his Marshall Thundering Herd are going to win. I love the UConn story, but I'm going to take Blake Jude and Marshall.
All right, so we get to see the famous Bluefield. We talked Boise State a little earlier, but we get to see the famous Bluefield in the famous Idaho Potato Bowl. Eastern Michigan versus San Jose State. San Jose State is a 3.5 point favorite.
Yeah, I'll go Eastern Michigan. Why not?
I feel like they're more built for the conditions. I mean, Boise, it gets a little cold out there. This fair weather San Jose State team, I don't think they travel well into Boise. I mean, I know it gets a little cold in the Bay Area, don't get me wrong, but not cold as
San Jose is like 4 hours away
Michigan.
from Boise. It's like 4 hours away from Boise driving.
Yeah, but elevation.
Sure. Okay.
We got elevation in there. Damn, actually, you know what? I revised that pick. I revised that because I remember San Jose State has some blue in their uniform on that blue field. Can't tell me they don't just fade into the background, fade into the field, almost camouflage attack.
It's either the great advantage or a great disadvantage. I'm not sure how that works.
Revise the pick. It is San Jose State now. Okay, well, this one should be great. Break out the Hawaiian shirt because we got the Boca Raton Bowl. Liberty versus Toledo. Liberty, another team without their head coach, moved on to Auburn. Just got blown out by New Mexico State not too long ago. Shout out NMSU. We'll talk about you a little later. Going against Toledo. Toledo is a 4-point favorite. This is officially the roofclaim.com Boca Raton Bowl. And I think it is going to be Toledo that claim.com's a victory against Liberty.
That was gross, but
I also just got to make it work.
Yeah. You know how I kept saying for all these years, I always recommend Jamie Chadwell for every opening. He's the Coastal Carolina coach. Well, Jamie Chadwell took that Liberty job that was vacated by Hugh Freeze. And I was just like, God, I had so much hope for you, man. Had so much hope for you, Jamie Chadwell, but you took the damn Liberty job. I'm going to take Toledo for non-religious cult reasons.
Let's get even more festive. Let's talk about the New Orleans Bowl. Caesars Superdome in New Orleans. We have South Alabama versus Western Kentucky. Looks like South Alabama actually is a 7.5 point favorite. Actually having a good season, 10-2. But you know what? In the season of Mike White, how could I bet against Western Kentucky? Even though I said Western Michigan a couple weeks ago, how could I bet against Western Kentucky? I am going to go with Mike White's alma mater against this Southern Alabama or South Alabama team.
Also Bailey Zappi. I'm gonna also Western Kentucky. I'm gonna take South Alabama because South Alabama was like 4-8 last year and turned it into 10-2. So shout out to South Alabama. They also almost beat UCLA. So one of those losses was like a last second field goal loss against UCLA. So they almost went 11-1 this year while beating UCLA at UCLA. So I don't know why I know so much about South Alabama, but I'm going to take South Alabama to win.
Okay, so Thursday, December 22nd, we got the Armed Forces Bowl at Amon G. Carter Stadium in Fort Worth, Texas. We have Baylor versus Air Force. Baylor, obviously, they got a little bit of advantage being that this is going to be a little closer to home. Fort Worth to Waco isn't exactly requiring a plane flight. Air Force, well, at least they bring their own, right? Air Force, they are currently 9-3. They are 6.5 point underdogs, however, to the Baylor Bears. Go ahead and give me Baylor, Big 12 loyalties, I guess. Air Force, shame they can't get a win in the Armed Forces Bowl, but it is what it is.
Baylor, because Dave Aranda's like my favorite coach in college football right now. So I'll take Baylor.
All right. Let's get into our next set of games. We have the Union Home Mortgage Gasparillo Bowl. We have Wake Forest.
That's a great bowl game.
That's
Missouri. A great bowl name.
This is going to be in Raymond James Stadium in Florida. Mizzou, I guess, closer. I think Wake Forest, not that far away. Wake, they had a great season last year. Unfortunately, weren't able to get it closed out in the ACC. They're back down to 7-5 this year. 6-6 Missouri have been at the bottom of the SEC for years, actually making it a bowl eligibility this year. I'm going to go with Wake Forest because I still think they have enough remnants of last year's team that was a good team to be able to take down the worst of the SEC in a Missouri.
I'm going to take Wake Forest for one reason and one reason only, and that is that their 6th-year quarterback, Sam Hartman, that is correct, 6th-year quarterback, Sam Hartman, he had an injury in which part of his rib had to be removed. He has refrigerated that part of his rib, and he wants to turn it into a necklace. So for that reason, I'm taking Wake Forest.
That's like tight end type personality. That's not a quarterback personality. That's a scary man.
That's like Ronnie Lott cut off your finger type shit, man. Like
we literally had the Dahmer documentary come out this year. Anyway, check that man. Make sure he's okay.
He didn't say he was going to eat it. He said he's going to turn it into a necklace.
I mean, he's not going to take a big bite out of it one day. It's just in the fridge. I mean, it's right there. Late night cravings. I digress. Let's go to the Radiance Technologies Independence Bowl.
Oh, that's a great bowl name. That's a great bowl name right there. Is this the one in Shreveport, Louisiana?
Let's see. It is the one in Shreveport, Louisiana.
Yeah, no one ever wants to play in this game. No one ever wants to play in this game.
Well, I guess it's a good thing that you have Louisiana, the University of Louisiana, playing in it versus Houston. Houston is a 6.5 point favorite. I am going to go again with in-state Texas loyalties here. I will go with Texas to beat Louisiana.
I'm going to bet on Houston and one of my favorite personalities in college football, Dana Holgerson, who first of all, he smokes aggressively. He is like 4 a.m. at a casino. If 4 a.m. at a casino were a person, that's Dana Holgerson, who has one of my favorite quotes of all time, which is in a profiled magazine, that interview that he was doing, quote, "Nobody's happy when I'm married."
Okay. It's almost criminal that a team that already plays in beautiful weather the majority of the year gets to play in one of the best stadiums in college football, in general. We have the Easy Post Hawaii Bowl, which will feature Middle Tennessee State versus San Diego State. This is going to take place at Clarence T.C. Ching Athletic Complex in Honolulu, Hawaii. I'm pretty sure I know which way you're going here.
Oh, maybe you don't. Maybe you don't.
You're going with Middle Tennessee State. You hate the state of Tennessee. Anytime we talk Tennessee Titans, you just shit all over Nashville, Memphis. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, the problem is, and again, for those who don't know, I'm from San Diego. I grew up 10 minutes away. My grandparents went to San Diego State. The thing is, we don't like Brady Hoke in that athletic department because at worst they covered up sexual assault by Matt Araiza, and at best they exhibited gross negligence. So like we're not on good terms with San Diego State's athletic department right now. So do you have a betting line for that game? I know it's an awkward pivot.
6.5 points in favor of SDSU.
I'll take SDSU. I'll take the possibly covered up sexual assault SDSU and Brady Hoke. Please fire Brady. Hopefully Middle Tennessee wins, so that'll move us along in firing Brady Hoke. I hope that's something we get closer to.
All right. Well, I will also go with SDSU again, Mountain West loyalties. Monday, December 26th, day after Christmas. Certainly is Christmas in Las Cruces, New Mexico, as Guns Up. Forget if it's one or two. I'm like the worst alumni here. But NMSU will be taking on Bowling Green in Ford Field in Detroit in the Quick Lane Bowl. I don't know how we got Detroit. I guess when you're talking about a program that this is only their second bowl game in 60 years in New Mexico State, you're just happy to get what you get, especially too, because they had a long road to get here. At NMSU, they finished the season 5-6. Asked for a waiver from the NCAA to play a 12th game after their San Jose State game got postponed early in the year. They were able to play, I think, like Vasparillo or whatever the name of the school was. Valparaiso blew them out. And listen, I covered NMSU back in the day in college. I covered them in the midst of an 18-game losing streak. The season I graduate, they decided to go to their first bowl game in the Las Vegas Bowl or whatever, win the thing. You know what? I'm bitter, but you know what? Screw it. NMSU, Aggies, oh Aggies, win or lose, we'll buy the keg of booze and wobble with the Aggies till we're something in our shoes. Whatever. Only fight song with alcohol referenced in the song.
I was about to say, is that the real fight song where they actually reference alcohol in your fight song?
Damn straight.
Man, I know the vibes of the school you went to. I'll take New Mexico State. Why not? It'll be fun. This is the first time they've traveled out of like the general Mexico for a bowl game.
I have no idea how we're going to have any fans in attendance. Bowling Green definitely has a real home field advantage here, because if our fans can barely travel for basketball games, in which we're actually good at, football, okay, it's a good story, but if you're the university, pay for 100 students to go. Just say, hey, you want to go to Detroit for the weekend? Which, well, okay, even that might.
No, they can't, Juju. They paid all that money to Valparaiso.
That's true. Yeah, we had to get that 6 win. But anyway, guys, we didn't need another library. Let's go. 6 wins. Bowl eligible.
Yeah.
Suck it. All right. Tuesday, December 27th. Transferring over from that, Joy. We have the Camellia Bowl or Camillio Bowl or whatever it is. Georgia Southern will be taking on Buffalo. Buffalo, I haven't heard about them in a while. Isn't that where Khalil Mack went to? Isn't Khalil Mack a former Buffalo?
Went to. Khalil Mack and Lance Leopold.
All right. Well, hey, they are 3.5-point underdogs to this Georgia Southern team. Georgia Southern's been a lot better in recent history. I think I'm going to lean that direction. I think that they've just produced even more NFL talent in general than Buffalo has over recent years.
You know who the coach at Georgia Southern is?
No. Hold up. FAU, I know, just hired Tom Herman.
Oh, they did? That's kind of funny. Okay. Tom Herman's back in the game instead of being on sad CBS broadcasts at Friday nights. The answer is Clay Helton. This is Clay Helton.
Well, hey, good place to land. Georgia Southern's not terrible.
Yeah, I'll take Georgia Southern. I know who the coach is. I don't know who the coach at Buffalo is.
Clearly, he's doing something. Turn around one of the worst programs in college football, so that's something.
Let's give him that respect. Let's give that coach that respect. Who is the Buffalo football coach?
You might have to do some extra searching to get past the McDermott.
It is Maurice Linguist.
All right. Have a linguist.
38 years old. 38 years old. Pretty good.
I don't know how many languages he speaks, but he speaks college football and was able to get this team bowl eligible. So he's doing something right there. All right, let's move on. First Responder Bowl. We have Memphis versus Utah. This is going to be in Gerald J. Ford Stadium in Dallas. The Memphis Tigers versus Utah State, not the Flying Mormons. I think I'm going to go with Memphis.
I'll go Utah State.
Nah. Yeah. Whatever.
Mountain West. Mountain West. Let's go.
We'll just move on. The Birmingham Bowl. We have Coastal Carolina versus East Carolina. This is going to be taking place in Protective Stadium in Birmingham, Alabama. Coastal Carolina for me. I know ECU is a 9.5-point favorite, but Coastal Carolina, call it beating Zach Wilson a couple years ago. The joy of that still resonates with me.
So
Coastal Carolina.
We mentioned Utah State a second ago. So I think it was like a few years ago, Matt Wells, who was the coach at Utah State, left to go to Texas Tech, and he took his entire staff with him. So they had a defensive backs coach be the interim coach and a grad assistant be the offensive play caller. And they actually won that bowl game. I think it was the New Mexico Bowl.
Yeah.
So in the same spirit of that, with JB Chadwell leaving and taking his entire staff to Liberty, I'll take Coastal Carolina to win that game with probably like a grad assistant calling plays and Grayson McCall not playing. Who gives a shit? I'll take Coastal Carolina.
We move on this Tuesday, December 27th to the Guaranteed Rate Bowl. I will make a guarantee here. Wisconsin is going to kick Oklahoma State's ass. This is going to be taking place in Chase Field in Phoenix, Arizona. Oklahoma State over the last month has just been kind of awful. Wisconsin, I know that they got some change coming to their head coaching position, but I feel like they're a more sure thing. So I'm going with Wisconsin in this situation.
This game used to be called the Alamo Bowl. It used to be called the Cactus Bowl. It used to be called the Cheez-It Bowl. Now they went with Guaranteed Rate Bowl. It's just, it's not great. Motel 6 Cactus Bowl. Long live the Motel 6 Cactus Bowl is how I will call this game. I'll take Wisconsin. I don't care. I won't watch that game. I guarantee you I won't watch that game.
Well, this game I would expect you to watch. This next game coming up, I think you have to watch it because you have a shirt for this university. The Military Bowl, which will be featuring Duke versus UCF.
Oh, yeah,
take place at Navy Marine Corps Memorial Stadium in Annapolis, Maryland. So we have no military affiliated university participating in the
Technically, I
Military
mean,
Bowl.
the head coach at Duke is Mike Elko, and he was at Texas A&M, and Texas A&M pretends they're a military school.
And okay, in fairness, UCF, they are the Knights. Knights are past military, right?
No,
You know what?
UCF. UCF
That's
is
all I
the
need.
Space Force. UCF is Space Force, baby.
That is all I need. UCF representing our men and women in Knights armor well. Give me the Knights to succeed in the Military Bowl.
UCF is the Space Force, baby. #1 space program in the country. UCF, I mean, Space Force isn't really a military like branch, but sooner or later it might be. So we got the Space Force of UCF. I don't know. I got the T-shirt, but also like Duke's a better team. So like, I don't know.
Just think about your Daniel Jones analysis. Just think about your Daniel Jones analysis. You know, a quarterback from
right.
Duke.
I know you're right, but Mike Elko won 8 games in his first season at Duke. I'm going to take Gus Malzahn. I have the T-shirt in the corner back there of national champion, 100% valid national championship for UCF, by the way. So I'll take UCF to win.
The AutoZone Liberty Bowl.
Classic.
It's going to feel good for one of these universities. ESPN, 5:30 p.m. Arkansas will be taking on the Kansas Jayhawks. You know what?
Woo!
It's been a long time since 2008, 2007, whatever it was. It's been a long time. Give me the Kansas Jayhawks against Sam Pittman in Arkansas. I know that it makes no sense. Arkansas should be the favorites, but maybe something special happens with the quarterback. Daniels over there. Kansas, give me them to roll. This is their season. This is their bowl game. This is what they've been building for.
What kind of Kansas loyalist would I be if I gave up on them now, baby? I mean, Kansas, this is no joke. I'm going to read this verbatim, what Kansas finished since 2008, the last time they made a bowl game. 6th out of 6th in their Big 12 division. 6th out of 6th in their Big 12 division. Big 12 got rid of divisions. Out of 10 teams, 10th, 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 9th, 10th, 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 10th. That is since the last time Kansas has made it to a bowl game. Congratulations, Kansas. You will beat Arkansas, and we will all be happy for you.
Okay, this is a good one. Kind of. It's not too bad. Number 15, Oregon in the Holiday Bowl, officially the San Diego County Credit Union Holiday Bowl, which was taking place at Petco Park, will be taking on North Carolina. Okay.
Aww.
Oregon, 10.5-point favorites here. Yeah, give me the Ducks. Ducks should roll in this one. It's a long trip for North Carolina. Oregon's just a better team in general.
This is basically the joke I've been making for years, is that this is like the on a budget Rose Bowl, because they do a parade, they do a big football game. It's basically like diet Rose Bowl. But I was supposed to go to this game last year, and then it got canceled because of COVID. But I'll take Oregon. Bo Nix. Let's go, baby. Oregon.
The Texas Bowl, taking place at NRG Stadium in Houston, is going to feature the Texas Tech Red Raiders, 7-5, taking on Ole Miss after the season happened in Austin, Texas, with my University of Texas Longhorns and their loss to Texas Tech. Screw those Red Raiders. Give me Ole Miss. Give me Lane Kiffin. Beat them by 50.
Lane Kiffin lost to Mississippi State, so I'm going to take Texas Tech.
I don't care. Beat them by 50, Lane. Do it for us. You're 4-point favorites. Okay, let's move on. Thursday, December 29th, we have 3 games. Let's start first with the Pinstripe Bowl, to the game in Yankee Stadium. Minnesota versus Syracuse.
Yeah. Minnesota, Syracuse, you say? That would be, of course, the Bad Boy Mowers Pinstripe Bowl. Bad Boy Mowers is now trading in their lawn mowers at the Bad Boy Mowers Gasparilla Bowl in exchange for the Bad Boy Mowers Pinstripe Bowl. They're probably the funniest sponsor that has existed in any bowl game over the past few years.
I think it's more so when I think about you made fun of me because I called the Yankee Stadium a cathedral of the game, but I think there is a certain aura that radiates from a Yankee Stadium. It's a revered stadium in baseball. However, when I think about Bad Boy Motors and I add that to the elegance of Yankee Stadium, it just kind of seems a little off.
Yeah, Bad Boy Mowers, baby. Let's get it. Petco Park's better than Yankee Stadium. I'm going to take, I don't know, PJ Fleck might shove an oar down his throat, so I'll take Minnesota.
I think I'll go Minnesota too. Okay, well, let's move on. Let's move on to the Cheez-It Bowl, which will feature, surprise they're bowl eligible, which will feature Oklahoma against number 13, Florida State, Camping World Stadium in Orlando, Florida. Florida State, damn, 13 this year. Yeah, I know that you've talked about a lot of Florida State in the last couple of years, but here they are, number 13. I go back to their opening day win against LSU to kind of set the precedent early of kind of like where this program was or where it could be. And it's not that long ago that Florida State was competing for national championships. We'll see. Maybe this is the right stepping stone. I'm going to take them beat Oklahoma because, come on, Oklahoma.
Yeah, dude, like how many teams had to decline this bowl game before they got to Oklahoma? Like, I guess Oklahoma had a good conference record, so maybe by tiebreakers they did finish fourth in the Big 12, but like they finished like 6-6. Yeah, Florida State.
Okay, our last one of this Thursday, December 29th slate is going to feature the number 20 Texas Longhorns as 6-point favorites against Washington. Washington is currently number 12, had a strong start to the end of the year. Penix decided that he's going to be coming back next year too, had a long emotional Instagram post. So I'm going to pick the Longhorns to kick their ass.
Yeah. Shocker. Is this the Alamo Bowl?
This is going to be the Valero Alamo Bowl. Yes.
Okay. I mean, I said in the preseason, if Texas makes the Alamo Bowl, the season's a success. So they already got the 8 wins. 9th would be a nice little boost, win or lose. I don't know. I'll take Washington just to be a dick.
Would expect nothing less. All right, let's move on. Friday, December 30th, we have, which one do I want to go for? Of course, I got to start with the Duke's Mayo Bowl. We got Maryland versus NC State, number 23, NC State. Maryland is a 1-point favorite in this game. So the Duke's Mayo Bowl, that is going to take place at Bank of America Stadium in Charlotte, North Carolina. So North Carolina State obviously has a little bit of a home field advantage here. I think I'm going to go with number 23.
So every year that, and this is only the second year of this game, but every time this game goes along, there's only one criteria for deciding a winner. It is which coach would be funnier to watch get waterboarded with mayonnaise, because that's how they celebrate at the end of that game, is by waterboarding a coach with mayonnaise. These coaches aren't really that fun. I mean, it's Dave Dorn, who's kind of boring at NC State, and I think it's Loxley is the coach at Maryland.
You know, as someone who once at one point in my life had loyalties to the University of New Mexico, fuck Mike Loxley. You know, any time he loses, I'm okay with it. So yeah, NC State, roll in this game. Beat them.
Okay.
Beat them by 50.
So you know what? I'll take Maryland so that we can waterboard the coach you don't like with mayonnaise. I think that's an adequate punishment, is that we will waterboard him with mayonnaise.
It's kind of like, I don't want them to win, but at the same time, you know, you mentioned the mayonnaise and I'm like, that might be kind of funny. So yeah, it's whatever. I still don't understand it. Head coach at a university versus gets the Alabama OC job and whatever, just has a good rest of his career. Whatever, Mike Loxley.
Worked out pretty well for him. I mean, Talia Tungavailoa just broke the passing yards and touchdown record at Maryland.
Okay, let's go to El Paso for the Tony the Tiger Sun Bowl. Number 18, UCLA versus Pitt. 8-4. Chip Kelly 9-3. UCLA's had a good year. Probably should have beat USC. Love that back and forth game. That was one of the more fun games of the season. Yeah, I just like UCLA. I like what they've done offensively as a program a lot more. You know, Pitt, I mean, the fact they have an 8-4 record is really impressive considering you lose your quarterback. I do know who's currently their starting quarterback. I think it's a name. It's a guy who's kind of like been around the circuit.
At UCLA?
Slovis. Yeah. No. Slovis.
Pitt, yeah.
USC. Okay, so very familiar. They played, you know, obviously just a season ago. So yeah, UCLA, I think they have some good game tape on him. They should be able to roll in this game.
Yeah, UCLA is going to care way too much about this game. So I'm going to take UCLA because sometimes caring is all that matters in these bowl games. So I'll take UCLA. This is DTR's last game. He's not going to go to the NFL. So they'll care way too much about that game and get that 10th win.
I think this company cares way too much about your taxes because this is the Tax Slayer Gator Bowl.
Yes, that's legendary. Yes, this is my favorite one because like when you win like the Frosted Flakes Bowl, at least you get like something cool. Or if you win like the Duke's Mayo Bowl, this one you get your taxes. Congrats, the Tax Slayer Bowl. That's what you win.
Can you not pay taxes for a year if you win this one? If you got not paying taxes for a year, I think this would be the perfect bowl game to win. Anyway, it's going to feature number 19 South Carolina versus number 21 Notre Dame. This is going to take place in TIAA Bank Field in Jacksonville, Florida. Notre Dame, now they've been really impressive the second half of the season. So they had that slow start, but they slowly started building and getting better. And then you look at Marcus Freeman now and you're like, okay, maybe they have something there. Maybe he does have the loyalty of his guys. Now we'll see how he does as a recruiter. I'm going to go with Notre Dame. They've just been heading in the right direction. I know South Carolina, this last 3-week stretch, obviously the beating Tennessee and never taking their foot off the gas. And then they had another impressive win down the stretch, I know, as well.
They beat Clemson.
Yeah. Spencer Rattler has been on fire lately, once a top prospect. I would advise, I don't know if Spencer Rattler, if he came out this year in the draft, how high he would be taken. I think it would take almost another year of doing something like this to really put himself back into that high round draft pick potential. But certainly turned around his career, because I thought he was going to be one of those that third program, we just never hear from him again. Notre Dame, I think they're just better equipped to win this one. I'm going to take the Fighting Irish.
If you know how in gambling, if you like pick the same result over and over again, and that like over time it will work out, like picking under every time will lead to a slightly larger victory. If you bet against Notre Dame every time, you will win money, because Notre Dame loses a lot of bowl games. So I'm going to pick South Carolina, because as long as you always pick against Notre Dame, you'll always win money.
All right, let's move on to the Barstool Sports Arizona Bowl. So Barstool literally has their own bowl game. Kind of feels a little weird, but okay, nonetheless.
They get the broadcasting rights too.
I hope they at least go all in. They really make the presentation really pop. If you're going to have your own bowl game, might as well make it like worth it. Anyway, Barstool is going to be featuring Ohio and Wyoming. Ohio is a 1-point favorite against Josh Allen's alma mater. Let me go with Wyoming. I don't know. Arizona State Stadium. Sure. Why not?
Yeah, I'll take Wyoming for Mountain West pride. Although Ohio went from like 3-9 to 9-3 this year. Also, this Barstool Bowl has existed for at least one season at this point. So this isn't like the first time they've done this thing before. So it's not that interesting.
We got one of our bigger bowl games here. We have number 6 Tennessee versus number 7 Clemson. Clemson is a 7-point favorite. Tennessee, you're down your starting quarterback, Hendon Hooker, but Clemson, I don't know if you even had a starting quarterback, because DJ Uiagalelei has officially entered the transfer portal after getting benched in the ACC championship. Tells you kind of like that in-between period of finding a quarterback when it comes to Dabo Swinney has not been too kind. DJ was supposed to be a 5-star prospect, never really lived up to the hype. Big game. I don't know. I love the Tennessee story throughout the year, but it's just hard when you just don't have your quarterback, I feel like Dabo's going to take this one very seriously. He's going to coach up his guys. He's going to get that same kind of respect and love and adoration that Swinney has been able to get out of his guys every time he's played in a big bowl game like this. I take Clemson, actually.
And also, DJ Uiagalelei's backup is actually better than DJ, as we found out, as he dropped a 50 burger on North Carolina in the ACC championship game. So yeah, I'm going to take Clemson because again, Hendon Hooker's done. But this is the battle of teams that lost to South Carolina.
Now, the argument I'm seeing online is that should both teams rock their orange unis, given and we are talking about the orange bowl.
Let's go. Do it. It'll be chaos. It'll be fun. It's like when you pick 2 white jerseys in Madden and you don't know which players you're throwing to. It's great.
Now, if they could only play on an orange field, just really add to the chaos of it, right? Okay, let's move on. Let's start talking about New Year's Eve before we turn the calendar to the new year. I'm going to actually refrain from the actual college football playoff matchups. We'll talk about those in another video. So if you're still with us to this point, come on, check those out, guys. Let's talk about the Music City Bowl. Iowa versus Kentucky. This is going to be taking place at 12 p.m. that day. Nissan Stadium in Nashville, Tennessee. Will Levis. This is his time to shine. Or is he playing? I don't know. Did he opt out?
God, he should not. Under no circumstances should he play in that game.
If he does play, I think I'm leaning Kentucky. If he doesn't, I might lean Iowa.
Okay, I'm going to pick Kentucky for Blake Jude's sake because I think if they win this game, Mark Stoops gets an automatic 1-year extension by virtue of winning 7 games, which is a term in his contract that's absolutely remarkable. If anyone watches this game, you are a pervert. If you watch this game, nobody should watch this football game. Even if you have a rooting interest in both teams, nobody should watch this football game.
So you're calling people a football pervert if they're watching this game.
You are a
I feel as though-
sicko. You are a sicko if you watch this game.
What type of people are the ones that are betting on it?
You have a deep, dark gambling addiction. You have a deep addiction if you're betting Iowa, Kentucky. For the second year in a row, by the way, Iowa, Kentucky played in the Citrus Bowl last year. And they put them in the goddamn bowl again. This is some dark.
It's a rivalry. This time it's personal.
Yeah, because Mark Stoops is going to replace the rotting corpse of Kirk Ferentz whenever he retires.
All right, let's talk about the Sugar Bowl. This one should be a little bit more exciting. We have number 5 Alabama versus number 9 Kansas State. This is going to take place in the Caesars Superdome in New Orleans. I have seen Alabama in years in which they don't have the college football playoff kind of mail it in when it comes to these bowl games, these lesser bowl games. And I know that this one's going to mean a lot to Kansas State. Coming off that big victory against TCU, I think Kansas State's going to want to have that little chip on their shoulder going in against Alabama. I think I'm actually going to pick them to win, especially too because we've seen on the road, this Alabama offense doesn't travel as well. And the neutral site game, you have a lot of guys who are thinking about their NFL careers more than their remainder of their college football careers. I think that for the Kansas State players, this game is just going to mean a lot more. So I'm going to pick the Wildcats.
Yeah, 3 starters just entered the transfer portal. Also, Bryce Young shouldn't play in this game under any circumstances. Will Anderson shouldn't play in this game under any circumstances. Any player who's going to get picked in the first 2 rounds on that Bama team don't play under any circumstance. So I don't know. Bama still probably wins because they got 5 stars all up and down that roster still. I don't know. It'll be fun to watch if I choose to watch it.
I might watch it. Let's talk about Tulane, number 16 Tulane in the Goodyear Cotton Bowl versus number 10 USC. USC feeling a little disappointed given that their ass kicking they just suffered against Utah. Caleb Williams got hurt in that game. I don't know if he plans on playing this game. He's still got a year to wait either way until he has to worry about NFL prospects. So he could, if he's healthy, if he wants to just put on a show. If he plays, then they should, in theory, be able to roll over Tulane. But Tulane, they're a team that had a couple quality victories throughout the year. There's a reason they got the number 16 ranking. They're 11-2. USC is only a 2-point favorite. I predict a high scoring game at the very least, because one thing you could tell in that Utah game, and I guess you could tell throughout the season, is USC's defense. It's similar to Oklahoma Sooners defense. So Lincoln Riley's definitely carried that over.
Riding the green wave, baby. Tulane all the way. We love our group of 5 team, our obligatory group of 5 team in the power. I have the UCF shirt back there for the national champion UCF team. So we're riding the green wave all the way to victory in the, what was that? Cotton Bowl.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. We'll take the green wave.
Okay. Yeah, I feel that. All right. If Caleb Williams plays, USC. If he doesn't, Tulane. The Cheez-It Citrus Bowl. No, I don't like that. I feel as though if you're going to have a Citrus Bowl, then you got to give me some sort of juice company. Give me Cheez-It. You can't give me Minute Maid or Sunkiss or whatever. You know,
better than what the sponsor used to be for this bowl game, which was Verbo.
I feel as though if it's another food, it just doesn't sound right. But okay, either way, number 17 LSU versus Purdue. Will we get the Purdue game in a bowl game? Purdue 8-5, LSU 9-4. They are 8-point favorites. I feel as though this is kind of like a statement year for Brian Kelly and his program, putting his stamp on his first year with the university. I think that they're going to come out motivated to give their coach at least a good bowl win, because towards the middle part of the year, especially after the Alabama, when you start to see those players really start to rally behind Kelly. And I think he has a good thing going there. I think that, I look at Purdue, the Boilermakers, they, at least last year's version of the Boilermakers, like to throw it a lot. We'll see if LSU could shut that down. Yeah, I think give me number 17.
Yeah, let's go LSU. Let's get Brian Kelly standing next to that like anthropomorphic Cheez-It mascot that looks like a king that Dabo Swinney really got excited about last year. So yeah, let's go Brian Kelly and his program to get the victory.
The elegance, the prestige. We can only be talking about the vaunted Rose Bowl taking place in Pasadena, California, between the number 8 Utah Utes and the number 11 Penn State Nittany Lions. Utah, Whittingham, you know what you're getting year to year. Like he's just one of the better coaches around college football. Model of stability, and the fact that he was able to go against USC and kick their ass the second time, I kind of guess just shows you kind of what he's bringing. At the quarterback position, I think they have an obvious advantage too. Yeah, I think I'll go with Utah. Penn State, not a lot of impressive victories to me. I know James Franklin has a good team, but not a lot of impressive victories. The two biggest games they really had got beat up. So Utah, in the biggest games they had this year, they won, aside from the Florida game, right? So
there were literally no other ranked teams in the Big Ten this year. There were only 3: Ohio State, Penn State, and Michigan. So they just had to send someone to the Rose Bowl. I made a promise on the Take It Easy podcast that if Utah got USC up out the paint, that I would reward them by watching their quaint little Rose Bowl against Penn State. And I will follow through with that. I will watch the Rose Bowl from start to finish. You get the sunset over the horizon. It's quite nice. I've been there before. It's quite fun. And I will watch Utah defeat Penn State in their nice, quaint little Rose Bowl that they now get to. By the way, Utah travels really well. There's going to be like 80% Utah fans at that Rose Bowl. They travel super well for those games.
All right, guys. Well, that's going to do it. Obviously you're thinking about what about the big games? What about the college football playoff? Well, that's in another video. You got to subscribe to the channel to watch that. I don't make the rules. I just think them up and write them down and spread them on this podcast. And one of the big rules is you got to subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell, and you will see our college football playoff preview. That's part of the deal. Leave a like on the video because, why not? Spread the joy. Comment below any of your bowl predictions or who you're rooting for in all this. We'd like to hear your thoughts on that as well. Follow us on all our social medias. From Juju, from Kyle, stay safe, happy, and healthy. We will see you next time.